Back from an injury-plagued season last year. He'll play shortstop and bat seventh. Leori Garcia is in left field. Adam Engel is the center fielder, and he's going to bat in the number 9 spot. On the mound for the Charlotte Knights is Don Roche, newcomer to the White Sox organization. His numbers there, 4-15 for 690 yard. That was pitching in Korea, professional baseball in Korea last year. But before that, had cups of coffee in the major leagues with the Padres, the Cubs, and the Seattle Mariners. So looks like as of right now, he is targeted to be on the Charlotte Knights roster when camp does break. You know, what's really interesting, Lauren, is that after this game, we mentioned the White Sox will be going to Kansas City, but the Knights will be heading back to Arizona for one more week of spring training before they come back here next Sunday to get ready for the opener a week from this coming Thursday.
It's a little unusual, but something that needs to be done so they can continue to get their work done.
Leading off is Yohan Moncada, and here comes the first one from Roche, and we're underway, strike one. Here is a young guy, Kata, that we watched the first 2.5 months, really 3 months last season, and got off to a slow start, but boy, he finished strong. And after a slow start in Chicago, as he rips one into right field for a base hit, he really started to pick up the last couple of months of the season. They're excited about a full season in the major leagues this year for this young second baseman.
He is fun to watch, elite talent in every single aspect, a definite 5-tool guy. And you put him at the top of the lineup every day and give him a chance to get 400, 500, 600 at bats over the course of the regular season. He's a guy that can really lead you not only during the regular season, but hopefully into the postseason as well.
There's a lot of punch in this White Sox lineup when they all stay healthy. Kata, Garcia, Abreu, and Davidson, the top 4. Those are all guys capable of, of course, 25 or more home runs, and most of them maybe 30 or more. Garcia last season had 18 with 80 RBIs and again batted .330. His most complete season yet as a big leaguer, and he rips this one, jumping on the first pitch into left field. And the White Sox jump out quick on Roche, a couple of singles, and it brings up Jose Abreu.
It's fun watching batting practice earlier, Matt. Even with the wind blowing in a little bit today at BB&T Park, these guys have no problem leaving the yard whenever they want to. They just big, strong, physical guys, and this is kind of how the game has changed. With Garcia hitting in the 2-hole, and he's a big, physical right-handed hitter. That's another way that the game has gotten more physical over the last 4, 5, 6 years.
Are you impressed by the approach they had during BP and the workmanlike attitude, and everything was put in fair territory too? They just kind of sprayed the ball around the ballpark, and sometimes not what you see on a daily basis in the minor leagues, especially the low minor leagues, as guys are still working their way up. But these guys put on display this afternoon during BP. Abreu takes a first pitch breaking ball for a strike. Now here's a guy that during the offseason, they didn't actively shop him, but they took some offers. They would take some phone calls if folks wanted to call Rick Hahn about Abreu, and the Red Sox might be a team that would make a big push. But the White Sox like the nucleus they have right now, and they elected to stay with Jose Abreu and hoping for another big year from him.
Well, and you throw him in the 3-hole with the other pieces that they have in their lineup, and it really gives you a chance to score a lot of runs.
They said you really have to blow us away with an offer to make a deal, and they didn't think it was going to be worth it. He had 304 last season, 33 home runs, 102 RBIs, and that's pretty much what he does year in and year out. You can just pencil that into your lineup. That goes a long way.
Stability in the middle of the order is what you're looking for in every single situation from an offensive perspective.
And a foul ball past the bag at third. Fans still coming into the ballpark, and one thing that has historically been true since this ballpark opened up now in its 5th season, it's kind of like L.A. Fans are slow to get here.
Well, the Knights have done a great job this year moving everything to 7:04 start time, which is the area code here in the Charlotte area, and tonight's a little bit earlier. Crowd a little bit slower to arrive.
There's the 0-2, and Abreu chops one slowly towards the right side. It gets by Roche. Tough play. Coming in to grab that is Perez. He throws to first to get the out. They do get one, but the runners move up now for Matt Davidson. And I'm not sure if we gave you defensive alignment, but if we did not, we will throw it back up there after this replay. As he kind of jammed Abreu.
Abreu's just trying to stay late there with 2 strikes, and running hard down the line. You got to give him credit. It's an exhibition game, but he's a pro, and he's gonna act like a pro and play like a pro every time he gets this opportunity.
Here's Matt Davidson. Davidson 220 last season, but 26 home runs and 68 RBIs. And he lines one up the middle in a hop. That'll get a run in. Perez was playing him up the middle to begin with. And Matt does the job getting that first run across the plate. And over to third goes Avisail Garcia.
We talked about it earlier, Matt, before the game started. You know, you get an exhibition game. The weather's a little bit cool. You know, these guys, it's their last exhibition game before they head to Kansas City. But a lot of first pitch swinging probably tonight. So guys getting in there with a good solid plan, and if they get the pitch they're looking for, they're going to be swinging the bats.
Here comes Yolmer Sanchez, third baseman. He can play all over the infield for Rick Renteria. And signed a nice offseason contract this last offseason. We saw him as an 18-year-old first get to AAA in 2012 for the playoffs that year. And that very youthful, exuberant attitude back then. He still has it now. Loves to come to the ballpark every single day and put the work in. Loves to play the game.
He's not your typical third baseman. You think more of a bigger, more physical guy. Now he's really strong. You got a chance again to see him in pregame. Really, really strong, but very talented guy.
Sprays that one foul, the 0-2 pitch. Now, one thing that he still needs to work at is kind of working the zone a little bit more and getting more walks. It was more of a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio for him a year ago. And he's in an 0-2 hole right now, but a good piece of hitting there, fouling that pitch away. Puts it in play, rolling this one foul.
Plate discipline usually comes with seeing more pitches and seeing a higher level, pitching situation on more of a regular basis. And with him being young, I'm sure he was signed. I'm sure that he was promoted quickly because of the ability he has to hit. So he's going to be looking to swing. But again, a very talented guy. He's got a great approach, great work ethic, and a guy I think is going to do big things at third base this year.
Puts that in play over to shortstop. Backhanded by Rondon. And he gets him at first base to end the inning. So Roche gives up a run, but able to pitch out of more trouble, giving up just the one after a half inning here at BB&T Ballpark. The White Sox take a 1-0 lead. Lead on the Charlotte Knights. Let's get to the Knights batting order. for this one here tonight. Leading off in center field, Charlie Tolson. Then the shortstop, Jose Rondon. Daniel Polka's in right field batting third. Then you have Patrick Leonard, the third baseman. Matt Skoll, the designated hitter. Casey Gillespie's the first baseman. Sebi Zavala is the catcher. Juan Perez at second base batting eighth. And then Jacob May, the former Coastal Carolina standout, is going to bat number 9 and play left field. And the starting pitcher is former Charlotte Knight, Reynaldo Lopez, as he is back here at BB&T Ballpark in a White Sox uniform. And his first one tonight is going to be a fastball strike on the outside half of the plate. Lopez was picked up in a trade a couple of off seasons ago. White Sox getting him from the Washington Nationals, and one of the big prospects they had in the organization a year ago. Got off to a slow start the first couple of months of the season, but then really in the month of May started to turn things around later in the month in May, and had a good June and July and found his way in the big leagues, and ended up in Chicago going 3-3 with a 4.72 ERA.
Talent. Big arm, big body. Just a matter of just refining things a little bit more. But you can just see the ball just explodes out of his hand. And one of the tough things here, we're seeing it, Matt, with the ball being thrown back to the pitcher. The sun this time of the year sets right directly behind home plate. So it's really hard to see on the pitcher's mound here for the next 5 to 10 minutes. It's really hard to see in the middle of the field at shortstop and second base and also in center field. But they're having a little trouble with that right now.
Tolson behind 1 and 2. This one is outside. Tolson was picked up in a trade in July last year, but he was hurt when the White Sox got him. So they really had traded for him for this season, knowing that he would not be healthy to play in the end of the season a year ago. Lopez, the comebacker, able to grab that one hopper, and he throws Tolson out. I was just about to say, with the sun being there, it's going to be difficult on any comebackers, but Lopez able to hang out of that with a big smile on his face, though.
No. And again, in spring training, these guys have been working on PFP drills, pitchers fielding practice, and been working on that play probably about every other day in spring training. So it's good to see that first one. You kind of exhale now that you get that first one right back at you and it hits the glove.
Well, maybe Zavala, the catcher, has to bounce it back to him for a couple more minutes or so. Jose Rondon made that play at shortstop to end the top of the first inning, his first at bat. Another newcomer to the organization. Hit .293 a year ago, 7 home runs and knocked in 49. Double-A and Triple-A with the San Diego Padres. Lopez, a big fastball, upper 90s. He's got 4 pitches.
One thing I really like about Lopez and the time that we got to see him in Charlotte, and now again tonight, is he's not afraid to throw on the inside part of the plate. And, he's got to do that to be able to give some more depth to his pitches that are away, his breaking ball that he throws away, a lot of times to right-handed hitters. And it just really, really helps when you're able to and you want to throw on the inside part of the plate.
There's a foul ball behind the screen. That'll even things up at 2-2. Daniel Polka's on deck. Wellington Castillo, the catcher, gave that a look, but it was over the screen. Former Knight Kevin Smith in the mix for a catching spot. A little banged up right now with an ankle injury, and still a few days before the White Sox have to set that roster. Just missing outside with that fastball.
Guys get 30 or so opportunities, spring training games, to try to get ready and get ready for the regular season. And sometimes guys get nicked up a little bit and need to make sure they get as healthy as quickly as possible.
And this one just a little bit low. Ball 4. Nice look at the plate there by Rondon to take first base. First base runner tonight for the Charlotte Knights, and it brings up Daniel Polka.
That's a Veritas walk for the Knights to first base.
A big Jose Abreu, the first baseman for the White Sox, holding on Jose Rondon. I realize how big he is till you stand next to him. Not quite as big as Frank Thomas,
no,
but big enough. There's a foul ball left side.
Again, just hanging around the dugout and hanging around the batting cage in pregame, and these kids are so physical now. I mean, it's amazing how strong they are, how physical they are. And Polka played at Georgia Tech. Paul Daniels from right around the Charlotte area from South Carolina and played at Georgia Tech. Was a great player there, and another in a long line of physical left-handed hitters that have come through the White Sox organization, and guys that really have a chance to leave the yard at any point in time. With one swing, they can leave the yard.
Hey, the White Sox are shifting Polka right now. That shouldn't be allowed here tonight. If anybody knows Polka, it's his own organization,
That's exactly
right? That's not fair.
He's probably thinking the same thing.
Ground ball to first. Abreu's going to touch the bag. They've got Rondon in a rundown, and he'll be tagged out. As Saladino came over and tagged him out, it goes 3-6 in the put out. It's a double play, and the Knights come up empty here in the bottom half of the first inning. After one in uptown Charlotte tonight, the White Sox have a 1-0 lead. Second at BB&T Ballpark. Great look at the uptown skyline behind the outfield in this gorgeous ballpark now in its 5th season as the White Sox AAA home, the Charlotte Knights. By the way, the Knights run a special patch on their jerseys. Got the logo behind home plate that fans can see here at the ballpark. Knights Sox 20. It's the 20th year of the affiliation that began in the 1999 season, the year the Knights won the Governor's Cup championship. And now 20 seasons, the Knights and the White Sox have been tied together as their AAA home. Wellington Castillo, the batter, followed by Saladino and Garcia here in the top of the second. 1-0 Chicago. That is a long time for the affiliation.
It is. That's a long time. It's been a great working relationship. And then with the other teams, in Kannapolis and Winston-Salem and all those things that have really helped, develop, players and be able to see guys develop and make it a lot more convenient for the upper level management to come and see guys. Birmingham, it's everything's close right here, and it's, again, that's been really good, really positive. Castillo's a really solid defensive catcher and a guy that's a physical right-handed hitter, in the lineup.
He was an Oriole last season. This ball is misplayed at first base by Gillespie, and he's going to be safe. Castillo's safe at first base, and what'll probably be an error. Ball kind of took a funky hop on him, played it off on his side. It'll be an E3 on Gillespie.
Kind of capped it off the end of the bat. It had kind of some weird spin on it. Gillespie just rushed it a little bit. He's got a He's got a runner coming down the line that's not real fast at all, you know, in Castillo, but just rushed it a little bit. You know, those are things that you get better with reps, and just didn't make the play he'd like to make right there.
And here's Tyler Saladino trying to bounce back this season. Had some back problems a year ago. Takes a first pitch strike. One of my favorites coming through in the minor leagues. Great backstory how, you know, he was growing up in California, didn't get highly recruited. Had one chance to play Division I baseball, went to Oral Roberts. And a 6'4" 3-double play. Tailor-made right there, turned by Perez at second base, now quickly 2 away. But to fight his way all the way to the major leagues. And he's done a nice job as a utility player for the White Sox the last few years.
And a lot of college guys on the roster, you know. And again, we talked about the White Sox developing their organization, develop the talent throughout their entire organization. They've done it a variety of ways, but you know, Jacob May from Coastal Carolina, Casey Gillespie played at Wichita State, Palka played at Georgia Tech, Engel played at Louisville. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are college guys that are part of both the rosters tonight.
Leori Garcia, here's the ultimate utility guy. He can play all over the place. White Sox picked him up years ago from Texas. And that one inside the bag, down the left field line, hit the sidewall, kicks out to Jacob May, but Leori's going to be safe at second, head first slide with a double.
There's that shift again, Matt. We talk about it all the time, but you know, you're going to take your third baseman and play him way off the line here with a left-handed hitter up, and every once in a while you hit a ball that's right over the third base bag, and you just got to tip your hat right there.
With his speed too, Garcia is one of those guys. He'll bunt on you.
Yeah.
How about what Moreland's been doing with the Red Sox? You've been watching that at all? He bunted for a double last week, and then he bunted again over the weekend. That big shift, couple of hits.
At times it's a good play. You know, now if you got runners in scoring position, you don't want to do that, but at times it's a good play, whether it be to lead off an inning or to start something in terms of trying to get a base runner.
Exactly. Adam Engel going after a pitch that was out of the zone. Here's Engel, the Louisville product. Got to the big leagues a year ago. Quite a few Charlotte Knights made their major league debut a year ago.
What a tremendous athlete, too. This guy looks like a football player when you see him walk around. He can really run. Great defensive presence for the White Sox in center field.
Overall, 22 former Charlotte Knights got to the big leagues last season. Made that jump to Chicago. Perez, the second baseman, shading up the middle a bit. Just off the inside corner. That was close.
Pretty good looking pitch right there.
Now, Roche able to pitch out of a little bit of trouble, giving up the 1 run in the first, left a man at third. Now trying to pitch out of a 2-out double situation here. Sox up a run early. Now 2-2 on Engel. The top of the batting order. Kata waiting on deck.
Roche really has to pitch on both sides of the plate and try to pitch in, you know, all 4 quadrants of the strike zone to be successful. You can tell he's got a good feel for what he's doing. It's just he's going to have to continue to mix and match and change eye level and do all the things that you got to do when you don't have overpowering stuff.
Well, it stays 2-2 on Engel. White Sox won 15, 12, and 3 during the Cactus League schedule. Long grind out there in Arizona now ending, and they head to Kansas City later tonight. This one line foul over the rolled up tarp. And Chicago will start this week. The minor leagues will start next week. The Knights open up on the road, going to Durham and Norfolk. Not home until the second week of April. And by then, hopefully things will have warmed up.
I doubt it.
This is, for us, unseasonably cool. It's about 12 to 15 degrees below what the normal average is this time of year. Engel able to hang in there. I know we're complaining, but the folks watching in Chicago would take 52 degrees
yes, they would.
this time of the year anytime.
Well, and these guys are pros. I mean, they're used to playing in whatever weather they need to play in, and again, that transition going from the climate in Arizona, even this time of the year, to the Midwest and getting ready to play it's not easy, but they're pros and they'll deal with it.
Again, taking a close one, and the count goes to 3-2. Roche, again, coming off a season in which he spent over in Korea. Now back in the States and trying to win a spot with the Chicago White Sox. Off the end of the bat, shallow right. Polka trying to charge this one. Might be in no man's land, that it is. It's going to drop in there. Angle on second with an RBI bloop double. Hit that where nobody could reach it. Polka coming in from right field. Gillespie going back from first. And Perez, the second baseman. And it dropped between all three of them.
Great job by Adam right there, putting the ball in play with 2 strikes. And a guy that's as athletic as he is and has the type of speed that he has, that's a good sign for the White Sox and adding more length to their lineup with him hitting the 9-hole. If he can even that right there, yes, it's a bloop double, but he put the ball in play. And anytime that he can do that, that's a plus.
And for a pitcher, that'll drive you nuts. You make a good pitch, throws the bat at it, and ends up being an RBI double. Now you got Yohan Moncada coming up with the man on second base. Moncada opened the game with a single and later scored on the ground ball by Matt Davidson in the first inning.
You think this guy's a small guy, and he's 6'2", probably 205, 210. And it's just, again, you put this guy in the leadoff spot, and if he can stay healthy, and if Davidson can stay healthy, they got a chance to really have a good offense in Chicago this year.
I think maybe this year, too, maybe some of the pressure is going to be off. Had all that, the lights were on him last year. Here's a line drive into right field. Hit that awfully solid. That's going to bring in a second run this inning. And now 3-0 Chicago. Moncada's 2 for 2 as he barreled that one up. And he's 2 for 2 with an RBI single the second time around.
You talk about strength, you talk about quickness when you're evaluating talent, and he's got all of it. I mean, that's a good, short, compact swing. That's really good to see. He continues to develop. There was a lot of pressure on him, like you said, Matt, in terms of the level of expectation. And when he was here last year, he didn't run and hide from that. He showed up and he played every day. He was still kind of a work in progress defensively at second base. Because he hadn't played much second base until the last year or so, but just an elite level talent and a guy that the White Sox can count on for many, many years to come if he stays healthy.
That's right. Came up with the Red Sox as a third baseman. Yep. Made that move over to second.
We talked about it before, too, that this is kind of the way the game has changed with Garcia as a big physical right-handed hitter hitting the 2-hole. 10, 15 years ago, this guy be hitting 4, 5, or 6 for you. And the game has changed now because you're trying to be a little bit more physical. Guys are strong enough now to hit the ball in the air a little bit more frequently, and you're trying to get those guys, maybe one more at bat over the course of 9 innings to do some damage and maybe hit a double or a home run.
Goes after that one, fouls it away. Had a single his first time up over to left field. Now it looks like Roche was in a position to get out of the inning, but then the double by Garcia, the bloop RBI double by Engel. Now Moncada's base hit. You look up, it's 3-0 Chicago. Pitch out, but Moncada, who is a threat to steal a bag, was not going.
Do you think they know the signs?
If they don't, they're probably in trouble.
Well, a guy like Moncada, they're probably just giving him the green light to run whenever he wants to. So we're joking about the signs, but you got a guy that can run as well as he does. You give him the green light to go pretty much whenever he gets a good lead and a good jump.
This one hit high and deep to left field. That's going to get out of here. And a 2-run home run. Abisail Garcia, and just like that, it is now 5-0 Chicago.
Wow. That should fire everybody up in Chicago on the south side. I tell you what, that ball got out of here in a hurry. Big time bat speed, big time strength. Great swing right there.
Hit .330 last year. had 18 home runs. Take a look at this again. Boy, he was right on that.
Can't draw it up any better than that. Again, he's setting on a certain pitch. He got the pitch and put a great swing on it.
And if you're Roche, you're frustrated. You were so close to getting out of the inning, giving up nothing after the double play, and 4 batters later, it's now 5-0. And here's Abreu. He'll take strike 1. Abreu bounced out his first time, but he moved the runners up and set up the first run with Davidson's ground out. It's the little things like that that help you win ball games.
Roche's going to throw strikes now. You know, he gives up a home run right there, and he's just going to come right back at the hitter and attack the hitter, which is what he needs to do. Just got to be a little bit more efficient throwing on both sides of the plate.
One ball, couple of strikes now. Matt Davidson is on deck. White Sox picking up where they left off. They had 16 runs in a win against the Brewers yesterday. Most they've had in the game this season in the Cactus League, but they've really been scoring runs last couple of weeks. At the right time, carrying it towards opening day. Going to be an interesting road trip. Kansas City, then over to Toronto before they get back home. Count stays 2-2 on Abreu. I remember watching games in Toronto before they had the roof and played at Exhibition Stadium, and boy, it was cold then.
Yeah, I don't think we'd want to go to Toronto in the middle of March. I don't think, and play outside.
This one popped up. We'll see if it's playable. Not a lot of foul room here at BB&T Ballpark, and it's going to be on the roof of the dugout. That's one of the neat aspects of this park. The fans are so close to the action, but because of that, there's little foul room. And
got to be heads up, don't you? Yeah, you got to be heads up here. Abreu's really trying to stay late, you know, with this 2-strike approach, and you can tell he's working on that. Got jammed the first at bat, hit a little dribbler to the second baseman, but he's a professional hitter, and the guy's got a chance to have a great year again this year.
Again, a foul ball. So it's a 4-run inning. 5-0 Chicago. And a 2-2 count on Abreu. Line drive to center. Tolson coming in. He'll make the catch. That ball is barreled up. Right on the money, but Tolson grabs that one. So in the inning, 4 runs, capped off on a 2-run home run by Avisail Garcia. Middle of 2, 5-0 Chicago.
By the Armor Shop. It's the night's official team.
Now we go to the bottom half of the second here at BB&T Ballpark. We'll take a look at Reynaldo Lopez wearing a Knights jersey a year ago before getting promoted to Chicago, and some of the highlights of his season with the Knights. He had some good stuff, of course, and certainly earned his way to the major leagues. And it'll be his first opening day roster made with the Chicago White Sox, it looks like. And his first one here to Patrick Leonard is high and away.
See the power arm, the power breaking ball, the physicality that goes with being a starter every fifth day, and he checks all the boxes. There's no doubt about that. It's just a matter again of fastball location and being able to make good pitches when he gets in trouble and gets runners in scoring position.
Believe we're getting some defensive changes now for the White Sox, and we'll get those passed along to us, and we'll pass them along to you as soon as we do receive them. This one ripped into left field by Leonard, and it's going to be caught. A leaping catch by Leury Garcia out there in left field. So one away. And now Matt Skoll, the designated hitter, is going to be coming up.
Good short compact swing right there.
You know, it's funny because Leonard last season was a Durham Bull, as Casey Gillespie was, and two guys that wore us out. So we went and got him. Can't beat him. Bring him over.
That's exactly right.
Now Skoll, who's a pull hitter, and the White Sox defense, we have that big shift in now for him.
This isn't fair, is it?
It's not fair. Unless he bunts for a double up the third base line.
Yeah, that could be a double. You're right.
There's only about 55, 60 feet of wide open space over there.
Bunted it hard down the third baseline. That would be a double.
He does have tremendous power, and this is a ballpark with a short porch in right field, that he could have a big season playing here at BB&T Ballpark. Now ball three missing down, 3 balls and 1 strike.
We've talked about the shift. You know, we talked about it last summer, and more organizations are going to it with all the analytical information, all the statistical stuff that they have. But not only is there the physical element to it, but as a hitter, when you see all those guys on one side of the field and you know that you're probably going to hit it to that side of the field, it kind of messes with you mentally as well as it does physically. So again, it's another way that the game has changed, Matt, and I think it's good. I think that the numbers and the stats don't lie.
This one hit hard to right field, and it's over the head of our new right fielder out there. And into second base, standing up with a double, is going to be Skoll. So he hit it over the shift that time and over the new right fielder.
I've heard a lot of older scouts that come through that we get a chance to talk to over the course of the summer. And again, we're going to see a really good swing here. They said the shift doesn't matter if you hit the ball off the wall or you hit the ball over the fence. So, I think they're right. But again, a good swing right there, and ends up being rewarded with a double.
The new right fielder is Mason Robbins. Replacing Garcia. Avasile got his work in, single, 2-run home run, and he'll now prepare for Kansas City. Casey Gillespie, we mentioned a moment ago, former Durham Bull, former #1 pick by Tampa Bay out of Wichita State, and picked up in a trade last season.
Got a chance to meet Casey for the first time in the dugout prior to the game starting, and being a fellow Wichita State Shocker, was good to be able to have a chance to interact with him and talk with him. And he said Coach Stevenson, both of our former coach in college, Coach Stevenson, coached there in Wichita forever, was down in spring training and got a chance to spend some time with Casey. So good to meet him, a very talented guy that's, I think, still got a bright future in the organization.
That has to be really cool now for Stevenson, a guy that was in the game forever, to now for the first time get a chance to do things like that, because he's not deep in his own season, get to go see his former players and watch the game from a different aspect.
Great to be able to talk to Casey about some of the same things that I was taught as a player at Wichita State and that Casey was taught. And I felt a little old though, Matt, I'll be honest with you, because he's like He's like, Coach, what was it like playing back in the 80s for Gene? I said, probably about the same as it was when you played for him. Didn't change a whole lot.
He had his approach. A good breaking ball by Lopez.
That's really good right there. An off-speed pitch right there looked like a change-up, and just that is so hard as a hitter when you got a guy throwing mid to upper 90s, and he can show you the same hand speed, same arm angle, and the ball gets there about 10 to 12 miles an hour slower. It just makes it really difficult.
They're shifting Casey as well, but not as big as the one they had for Skoll. And now it's a full count, just missing off the inside. Sebi Zavala, the catcher's on deck. Now the Knights roster for opening day is not set yet. Again, they're going to go back out to Arizona. Just missing ball 4. So Gillespie's on, runners on first and second now for the Knights, and Zavala coming up. They'll go back to Arizona tomorrow morning and be out there for the rest of the week. And by week's end, we'll have a opening day roster made. But still some positions to be won, still some competition to be had before that final roster is made.
It's a job, and guys got to show up, and if you perform well, you're going to get a better opportunity. So Lopez right there in that sequence right there, he goes to a 2-2 slider to Gillespie and just misses, and Gillespie didn't swing at it. And he's got to have the ability to be able to throw a 3-2 fastball in the strike zone right there. Again, that's again part of the learning, part of the maturation process, but he's going to have to be able to develop that ability to be able to throw that 3-2 fastball and get himself out of that situation instead of walking a hitter. And that's going to come with time and reps, but that's taken the next level for him as a starting pitcher.
We saw him kind of fight through that a little bit when he was not having much success the first couple of months of last year. Just the consistency, and he was at 100 pitches after 5 innings, and it was because he was a lot of 0-2 to 3-2 and was unable to either make that put away pitch or just to get the guy to put the ball in play to get out of that hitting.
Well, and you've got to have a go-to pitch, similar to a basketball player having a go-to move, or a football team having a go-to play that you can get to whenever you get in a little bit of a trouble, a little bit of a jam. And you see overpowering fastball right there. That ball is just getting on the hitter real quickly. But to Gillespie, you see the plus changeup that he throws early in the count, and then he works himself into a situation where he gets to a full count and then can't throw and can't finish the hitter off with a fastball. But again, he's going to get there. That you can see the talent, you can see the arm strength, and all the things that you need to have out of a starting pitcher.
You always hear the phrase, trust your stuff.
Yeah.
And the guy that has a fastball that's that good, maybe he probably should throw it more sometimes.
Well, the difference is just being able to locate, and we talked about it. First thing is to throw a strike, and then the second thing is to be able to throw a quality strike, and that's the part that's so hard to evaluate. And I think that the way you do that is you give guys innings, and you see who can and who can't.
Now it ripped into left field. A base hit. They're going to try and score. Good throw home, but dropped momentarily. Picked back up, and they get the runner at the plate. So thrown out is Skoll. The throw came in from Garcia, was dropped momentarily at home plate. I want to make sure it's still Wellington can steal behind the plate. I'm not sure. And he picked it back up and applied the tag. That is still Wellington Castillo. Able to recover after dropping the throw. And he blocked the plate just enough. He can't get all of it, but he blocked it just enough.
He's in the right position, again, giving the base runner the outside part of the plate, which is the way you're supposed to do it, and receiving the throw from left field. And initially dropped it, made a pretty good recovery, though, didn't he? Good job of barehanding the ball and getting back to a position where he could tag the runner out.
Yeah, there was no panic at all right there, and able to recover and put the tag on. Again, they're putting the shift on for Juan Perez. I saw Perez watching the game on television just a couple of days ago in a home run at dead center field. I think he was playing the Diamondbacks. And it was, I want to say, 410 to center. And it cleared that wall by plenty. He's got a little pop. Count 0-2. He's the second baseman for the Charlotte Knights. his first look at Lopez tonight. Still a 5-0 ball game. The White Sox on top here in the bottom of the second. Seen a couple of defensive changes already this inning. And up the middle, Lopez able to jump and grab that one. And he's going to work a couple of scoreless frames here tonight. In the second, couple hits and a walk, but a runner thrown out of the plate. And after 2 full, it's 5-0 Chicago.
That is with BB&T's new online mobile banking platform.
Well, back at the ballpark, the Charlotte Knights down 5-0 to the Chicago White Sox. Couple of innings in the book now, and a special guest also joining us up here in the booth as we move forward into the top half of the third. It is Jeremy Haber, Assistant General Manager for the Chicago White Sox. And Jeremy, good to see you. Hope you're doing well.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Little different weather, I'm sure, from Arizona the last few days to come here to a little chilly Charlotte.
Absolutely. Gets us ready to go to Kansas City in a couple days.
That's what we're saying. You guys go to Kansas City, then you go up to Toronto. Fortunately, got the roof up there, but a good road trip to start the season. How's camp been so far?
It's a great camp. I mean, we have been fortunate to get to see some of the young guys mix with the major league guys like Michael Kopech and Eloy Jimenez and Luis Robert that everyone's excited about. And at the same time, the benefit of a young team, you have people that Knights fans are very familiar with, and Tim Anderson and Nicky Delmonico taking a leadership role. It's an exciting time.
Matt Davidson, as you just mentioned, leading off here in the third, and Matt is one of those guys who keeps getting more comfortable with each year now in the major leagues, and he's become a solid power hitter for you guys, and knock on wood, a healthy season could be a really big season for him.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that we're looking to take at bats on a regular basis and take that next step. A lot of guys are inconsistent in their first year. As you said, Matty was excellent in power production. I think he'd tell you he wants to be more consistent throughout the season, and he's working towards that.
And one of the things we noticed in his first at bat, just putting the ball in play, moving the runner over, getting that run in with a ground ball RBI. Maybe in the first couple of years he'd be trying to hit a ball in the ballpark or do something he didn't have to do in that situation.
And that goes throughout the lineup. One of the things that Ricky has stressed throughout camp is it's a team offense, and the situation is going to dictate your part of your approach in the at bat. And we hit as a team, and Matty's bought into that as the rest of the group.
The guy's been scoring a lot of runs recently too, and kind of the right time as you head into the season. But the offense looks like you got some guys that can produce some runs.
Yeah, we're excited to see full years of a Yohan Kata. Tim Anderson's come in, having an excellent camp, and the addition we made in Wellington Castillo, we think will make a meaningful contribution on the offensive side.
Yeah, I feel like you're pretty much set going into Kansas City right now, or is there still a spot or two where there's still some competition?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you look at our offseason, we added a veteran presence in Castillo, we added bullpen pieces in Soria and Avalon. But a lot of what we did, what we had in mind was that we have young guys that we want to see grow, and we want to see them develop at the big league level. Obviously, we have a fairly talented group coming behind this group, but we want to see, Yomar Sanchez right now at the plate's a good example of a guy who you see his full potential when he gets to play every day. So whether it's Lurie Garcia or Matt Davidson, Nicky Delmonico, there's guys we want to see what they can do every day.
And even a guy like Sanchez, who's been up there for a few years now, he's still young. There's so many of these guys that have had numerous big league seasons under their belt, but still 26 or below in their age.
Yeah, it's one of the big. It's a huge adjustment to come up to the big league level. You're used to playing every day in Charlotte. You come up to the big league level and you're fighting for at-bats. And all of a sudden you have 3 days where you take an 0 for 10 and you're sitting for 2 days. So it's an adjustment for a young player to learn to play a role, and sometimes that's not every day, and guys take a little time to adjust to that.
Jeremy, how much do you use analytics and statistical data when you're breaking down guys in the organization and trying to decide who fits, in what position?
I think we have been consistent throughout that we look at everything. We are fortunate to have a ton of excellent information that comes our way. Some of it comes from a scouting route. Some of it comes from ball and play data. Some of it comes from your traditional baseball stats. Our job is to mix the three together and be aware of how guys are developing and changing throughout their career.
Castillo at the plate right now. Wellington Castillo picked up. He was an Oriole a year ago.
He's brought an excellent veteran presence behind the plate for us. He's a guy who, for our young pitchers, it was a priority for us to have someone that they know behind the plate. It's an important leadership position there, and offensively, he's been tremendous throughout his career.
And he fouls that away. You look at you don't have a lot of older guys, but the ones you have, Castillo, Abreu, an older. With the other guys you have, he's on the older side of that, but still very young. And then you have James Shields, your opening day starter on Thursday. But 3 quality guys. Talk about quality leadership on the older side.
We're thrilled with the guys that you mentioned and others. The way the clubhouse has come together with the coaching staff. Not all veteran guys want to play that role. And then one of the things that we've been looking for are guys who want to mentor young players, who want to be there, who want to spend time, over lunch just talking baseball, talking pitching. And it's been a great spring in that regard, watching that happen.
1-2 on Castillo, 2 outs. The White Sox have a 5-0 lead here in the third. And Castillo is out to end the inning, and the first 1-2-3 frame for Dan Roche here in the top of the third is in the books. We'll take a break, come back with more from Jeremy Haber, the assistant general manager of the White Sox, as we continue from BB&T Ballpark. 5-0 Chicago. Well, going out of the bottom of the third, and back on the mound is Reynaldo Lopez for the White Sox. Reynaldo, a couple of scoreless innings, giving up 2 hits, couple of walks, and has a 5-0 lead. We're still joined by Jeremy Haber, the assistant general manager of the White Sox, as we move on here in the bottom half of the third. And there was a defensive change, now playing third base. Trey Yacheski for the White Sox, replacing Sanchez. Jacob May leads off. And the first pitch fouled away in the camera well, I believe. There is some action down to the White Sox bullpen now. This will most likely be the last inning for Reynaldo Lopez. Now, Jacob May is one of those guys who made the opening day roster a year ago. First taste of the major leagues. Then came back down and made the first and spent the rest of the season with the Charlotte Knights. And how's his spring been so far?
Jacob did a nice job for us in big league camp. I think one of the things we're seeing more and more as we go throughout this process is there's a lot of competition among really good baseball players. And Jacob's got an opportunity to come down here and work his way back up.
2 balls and 1 strike as he at one point last year gave up the switch inning, then went back to it at the end of the year. Is he still switch inning?
You know, he's going back, and I think what he's tried to do is improve his consistency. And you know, we talk about approach a lot, and every one of these guys coming out of spring, you know, you hope they are feeling confident in their hitting approach and ready to start the season on the right foot.
There is the physical element, as you're alluding to. There's the mental element as well, even with guys at this level, at an elite level, and guys that have played in the major leagues. And it's great to hear you say that, because that's a big part of player development as well.
Absolutely. We talk as much about the mental side of hitting and how a pitcher's trying to set you up and what they're trying to do to you to get you out as we do mechanics.
And Lopez gets his first strikeout of the night. 1 away here in the third. Here comes the top of the batting order, Charlie Tolson. And the development side, Tolson was a guy you guys saw a lot in last year, made the trade for him knowing that he was hurt and wouldn't play last season, but is healthy now.
Yeah, so Charlie unfortunately got hurt his first major league game with us, and you know, he had a long road back, but we saw this spring that athleticism, that center field ability that made us go out and get him. He's the type of guy that, you know, I think the Charlotte Knights are going to see at the top of the order and have an opportunity to play every day here and make up for those lost at bats. He's an exciting young player.
On deck is Jose Rondon. 5-0 Chicago here in the bottom of the third. And this one fouled away to the left side.
You mentioned the competition and how you guys have created more depth, and players know that. I mean, they do. They go to spring training. They know there's a lot more information now out there than there was 15, 20 years ago. And I think that's a good thing. As a coach, I think as a player development person, it's good. You're kind of sending those subtle messages. Hey, there is another guy there if you don't take care of your business the right way. And, you know, I think it's all positive, but you guys are doing a great job, you know, of building depth in your organization. I think it's going to pay huge dividends moving forward.
No, I appreciate that, and I think, you know, the opportunity to develop here in Charlotte is a huge benefit. This is as close to a big league environment as you get in the minor leagues. You're right. These guys see the level of talent around them and rise to it. The coaching staff reinforces that, and it's a terrific process.
And ball 4, so a 1-out walk puts Tolson on for Rondon. 20th year now, the affiliation between the Knights and the White Sox. It's going back to 1999 and still going strong. And should be a fun year. We got the alternate logo, the alternate hat that will honor the White Sox, the old license plate uniform. We got the CLT on the hat this year, so should be fun.
No, it's a strong club coming to Charlotte this year. There's going to be some new faces that you're seeing tonight, as well as we'll see come opening day. You've got a bullpen full of guys with major league experience. It's going to be an exciting club to watch.
22 players last year made the jump up to Chicago from Charlotte, and some of that was injury related. You hope you stay healthier this year, but still, you know, you've been able to dip down to Charlotte quite a bit. And we mentioned 8 of the 10 starters today being former Charlotte Knights, so been quite frequently you've been able to come down here and pick somebody up from Charlotte to help the big club.
No doubt, and it's inevitable. For one reason or another, there's going to be a call to Chris Getz and the guys in player development, and it could be, hey, we had a rain out, we need a starter the next day. I think sometimes guys don't know how much we mess with the AAA team in terms of we need another bullpen arm.
Who are some of the other guys that you have in their organization that you guys are really focused in on or high on, maybe in AA or in A ball, that have a chance to maybe play it at the AAA level or at the big league level?
Sure. I mean, we're seeing, we're seeing the benefit of the commitment we made to restock the farm system, and whether it's Dane Dunning, Alec Hansen. Obviously, everyone knows about Eloy Jimenez and Michael Kopech and Luis Robert. But there's a whole level beneath them of guys who are competing hard that are going to come through Charlotte in the next coming years.
It's exciting.
Absolutely.
It really is.
Yeah, we got a pitching change now. Tell us about the new pitcher. Trying to take a look for the right number here.
You got Avalon?
I believe so. Yes.
Luis Avalon we acquired from the Dodgers, left-hander reliever that has been a consistent guy coming in, getting the lefties out. He can do full innings. We wanted a veteran presence that could come in, stabilize the bullpen. We've got a lot of young arms back there. Option for Ricky and Coop to call on really any situation throughout the game.
He takes over for Lopez, and Lopez doing a nice job at his final tune-up before they will open things up for good on Thursday in Kansas City. Lopez goes 3 2/3, couple of hits, 3 walks, 1 strikeout. He will leave with a man on second, still his responsibility, but here's a young man he picked up a couple of years ago in the trade from Washington, and got off to a little bit of a slow start. Maybe that initial jolt of being traded, and maybe feeling like he had to be too good to begin the season. He finally settled down about June, and once he got to Chicago, he did a nice job.
Yeah, I think one of the things that happens with young players, even the best ones, fans see some guys come up and not skip a beat, right? They come right in, whether it's AAA at any level. But it is incredibly common for guys to bump up to a different level, and all of a sudden it's a little bit of an adjustment. Coach knows this. And then they settle down, and then they realize what they have to do, either make a slight adjustment or go back to what they were doing to be successful in the first place. At the same time, there's a performance adjustment, there's a cultural adjustment at the big league level, and as you move up in the minors, and how you go about your business and being a professional. Ronaldo's done a terrific job, and this is the year for him to get the ball every 5th day at the big league level.
Wild pitch puts Tolson over third now with 2 outs as Daniel Polka is the batter facing Avalon. Now the shift on for Polka as well. And just out. So I want to ask you too, this year going into the season for Yohan Moncada, there was such a spotlight on him last year, and he really handled it well when he was in Charlotte and then in Chicago. But maybe this year that'll be not as bright, and he can be a little bit more comfortable being himself out there.
I think that's a very, very good point. There's a lot of pressure on guys who are top prospects. This is a guy who's been in the spotlight since he was 19 and originally came to the U.S. in professional baseball with the Red Sox. He has been that guy the entire time. And you're right, he's handled it very well. I think he's got the opportunity this year to just go out and play. We're going to see what his skill and athleticism does on the field. It's been fun to watch this spring.
Have y'all been happy with his transition from being a third baseman now to playing second base and playing in the middle of the field defensively?
Absolutely. He has worked really hard with Joe McEwing and our other infield coaches. He's mastered that. And knows he has to keep working. It's one of the things that Ricky stressed throughout spring is development continues at the big league level. Yohan's is a prime example of that.
And a strikeout of Polka will end the bottom half of third. The Knights come up empty, leave man at third base. Jeremy, want to hang out for the half inning?
Sure.
All right. We'll be back with more coming up as we go now to the fourth. The White Sox on top, 5-0. Now we go now to the top half of the fourth inning. White Sox leading 5-0, and it'll be Saladino, Garcia, and Angle coming up to face the Charlotte starter Don Roche, who's back out there for the fourth inning. He's given up 6 hits to the 5 runs. It was a 4-run second. We're joined by Jeremy Haber, the White Sox assistant general manager. And Roche's first delivery here in the fourth inning is going to be ball 1. You know, in that 4-run inning back in the second, he had the double play ball and was in a position to get out of it. And that, you know, he makes a good pitch to Angle, who basically breaks his bat and bloops one for a double. That kind of opened the floodgates a little bit. Here's a nice play at second base. Perez, nice job. Takes a hit away.
Talk about player development. You get to see it right there firsthand on a ball that's hit really hard to the right of the second baseman, and did a good job drop stepping on the ball and getting his eye level and glove in the right position. Really nice play right there.
Yeah, that's not Perez a little bit
really
too.
nice play.
He's a shortstop as well.
Yeah.
We'll see him all over the infield, coming off of Tommy John surgery, so taking it slow with him. But as Coach said, he's got infield skills.
Showed a little pop, too. I was watching the game over the weekend. He went deep over the center field wall.
It's exciting when the young guys get into the big league games and come in and make an impact right away.
Here's Garcia, another guy that could play all over the place.
Yeah, Lurie is a guy that lots of teams ask about. Just what you said, that defensive versatility. It's very rare you have a guy who can play major league center field and shortstop.
How much value do you guys place on that? Is that something that's kind of a priority within the system?
Absolutely. I mean, you're always looking for opportunities to both give guys more opportunities to help the team, but also give themselves a chance to move up in the organization. And the more chance there is for the coach to put you in, as you know, the versatility there is big, because, you know, sometimes, you know, there's guys have an injury, they're down a day or two. It's not a DL situation where you go get help from Charlotte, and you're looking for guys to put out. And a guy like Lurie, who can go into the outfield or infield, is a huge asset for Ricky.
Also one of those guys, special guys that, you know, if he doesn't play for a couple days, he can still go out there and be effective. Some guys they almost have to play every day somewhere. That's
absolutely a skill that has to be learned, because everyone who gets up to Chicago was the best player on a team at some point. And they're used to playing every day. They're used to probably hitting third. And they're trying to learn that and be ready whenever they're called upon.
And a strikeout here. They'll put out 2 to 3, and now 3 strikeouts in the game for Don Roche. There's some action down to the Knights bullpen as well. This will be Roche's last inning. He'll face Adam Engel, another player that made his big league debut last season.
We're sensing a pattern, aren't we?
We are. We are. But in a couple of years, that'll be a good thing because you'll have some guys that have been up there 2-3 years and very young.
No doubt. There is an opportunity for these young guys to get big league experience. And the Charlotte team the Charlotte staff here has really prepared them well. They come up ready to play for us.
Engel had that bloop double in the right field line that drove in the second White Sox run back in the second, and then began what ended up being a 4-run inning, capped off by the home run from Abisail Garcia. Boy, he had .330 last year, Garcia, and he's kind of picked up where he left off, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, he really dedicated himself last 2 off seasons ago. Come in shape and change his approach a little bit.
There's a extra base hit down the line as Engel's going to dig for second base and get in there sliding safely with his second double today. He's 2 for 2, and it brings up the top of the batting order. And here comes Brian Fleete, who's one of the replacement guys that have gone out there as some of the starters have begun to be pulled out. Young player, where can we expect to see him?
We got a second baseman who was part of the Jose Quintana trade. He's got some pop from the left-hand side. Interesting player, and he did a nice job for us in Winston.
Now activity in both bullpens. We're in the 4th inning here at BB&T Ballpark, 5-0 Chicago. And Fleete hits one to first base, and Gillespie takes it himself, and that'll do it. Well, Jeremy, thank you
so much, guys.
Really
I appreciate it.
Good luck this season.
Enjoyed it.
Take care.
Good luck to you.
Seeing you soon.
We go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. I want to thank Jeremy Haber, the White Sox, joining us. It's 5-0 Chicago.
Looking at a video board, quite a few of you fans out there.
We go now to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Knights coming up trailing 5-0. And now we have a new left fielder and a new center fielder for the White Sox. Patrick Leonard leading off for the Knights. Leonard lining out his first time. Jamison Fisher is now in left field. Alex Call is in center field for the White Sox. And Mason Robbins came in earlier. He's playing right field. There's a strike, and now 0-2 on Patrick Leonard.
Great talking to Jeremy there, and for that time that we had him on with us, just really bright guy, Ivy League educated, got a tremendous mind, and that's kind of the way the game's going now. You know, you take a mix of maybe the old school scouts, the guys that go out and want to visually look at players and prospects and evaluate guys, and you have a guy like Jeremy that's a very, very bright guy that brings another element to your organization. Again, you know, like the fact that he not only was breaking down guys individually, but also talking about team concept as well. And I think that bodes well for the White Sox and the way they're trying to develop, you know, players within their organization. Bringing in guys like Castillo, you know, from a catching perspective to deal with the pitching staff. That's something that you can't put a number on, you can't put a stat on. And again, it's great to hear Jeremy and his comments and how the White Sox are kind of going about their business. It's really, really encouraging and exciting.
There's also a new pitcher out there right now, and he gets a swing and a miss and strikes out Patrick Leonard. It's Joakim Soria. So Soria takes over in the fourth inning. Lopez started, went 3 2/3. Went 2 2/3, excuse me. And then Avalon got the last out with a strikeout of the third. Now here in the bottom of the fourth inning, it is Joakim Soria. Trying to keep up with all these.
We're going to run out of space tonight.
All these moves, yeah.
Trying
Still
to keep
a spring
up with,
training.
Yes,
game.
It is. Yes, it is.
Lopez looked good in his 2 2/3 tonight. Got the shift on now for Matt Skoll. Swings and misses. Skoll hit one over the head of the right fielder Garcia at the time back in the second. Had the big shift on. Again, they have that shift on with the third baseman playing basically straightaway shortstop. And the shortstop Saladino to the right of the second base bag. And Saladino's the last remaining starter for the White Sox, with Castillo behind the plate still in the game.
You know, as a coaching staff and as a manager, you kind of go through and script these things out with your pitching coach and with your other coaches on your staff. Maybe make a few subtle adjustments, you know, in game. But again, it's a matter of guys getting the reps that they need to get and continue to develop. And once you get guys like Kata and Garcia, once they get their reps, and Abreu and your everyday guys, you want to get them their work and then get them the heck out there, to be honest with you, so they can get prepared for Thursday. So again, it's player development never stops. It doesn't matter if it's the first inning or the ninth inning. You're always trying to develop as many options as you can with your roster.
They'll travel tonight down to Kansas City and have a day off tomorrow. Workout day is going to be on Wednesday, and the opener is on Thursday. Soria, longtime Kansas City Royal himself. Here's a line drive slicing foul. First got up to the big leagues with the Royals in 2007. Then he was with the Texas Rangers, the Tigers, and Pittsburgh, and last 2 seasons back with Kansas City. Pitched in 59 games last year. Now the first time around with the Royals, he was their closer. And a swing and a miss. Castillo's going to pick it up and fire down to first base. So back-to-back strikeouts for Soria. And now the batter, Casey Gillespie. Soria had a 42 save season back in 2008 and a 1.60 ERA. That came back with a 1.78 in 2010 with 43 saves. Outstanding numbers. He's now 33 years old.
Another piece of the puzzle. You know, another guy that's shown that he can pitch at an extremely high level. Got good life down the strike zone, and a guy that you can see can really help, you know, if he continues to stay down the strike zone consistently.
He did miss 2012. He had Tommy John surgery. Came back in 2013. Worked his way back up to Texas and pitched in 26 big league games that year. Ground ball to second. And Felipe makes the play going to his right and throws out Gillespie, and it's going to be a nice 1-2-3 easy inning for Soria with a couple of punch outs. We've played 4 at BB&T Ballpark. It is 5-0 Chicago.
Does this
Charlotte Knights 5-0. New pitcher on the mound now for the Knights. But no stranger to White Sox fans. It is Chris Beck. And Beck's going to take over for Don Roche. He goes 4, gives up 7 hits and 5 runs with 3 strikeouts. And it is a pleasure to have us graced by his presence here in the booth. Mr. Windy City himself, Jason Benetti. Jason.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Jason.
Hi, Lauren. How are you?
I'm doing great, Jason. Nice to meet you.
Good
Heard a lot
to meet
of
you,
good things
too.
about you. You know, Matt was pumping you up here before the inning started, so.
Mostly exaggerations, I'm sure.
Oh, this one thing is not exaggerated. Mason Robbins serves one out to left center, digging for 2. And he has himself a sliding double. How about that? So Mason Robbins, who took over in right for Abisail Garcia, has a double leading off here in the 5th against Chris Beck. The one thing I told Lauren is that you still owe me a lunch at our favorite restaurant in Syracuse.
Santangelo's.
Yep. Because the story is, a couple of years ago, we're going into Syracuse. And, hey, Jason, I'm coming in next week. We got to go to Santangelo's. Because I'm on it. And like 2 days later, you go to the big leagues. I go to Syracuse. There's no Jason Benetti.
Yeah.
I have no car. I can't get to Santangelo's.
Yeah, it was pretty much the worst thing I did while I was in Syracuse is stand you up for chicken parm.
It's fantastic chicken parm.
There's very good Italian in Syracuse, and Santangelo's is absolutely top notch.
Yeah. So there you go. You owe me a lunch in Syracuse. So if we're both ever in Syracuse.
I love that this was a total trap, right? Well, let's ask the Sox to have Jason come in the 5th inning, and it's really just about Veal Marsala.
Really is.
So good to see you.
With a good chicken soup, it's outstanding.
They do have fantastic chicken soup. And now I'm hungry, all right? Like, this is – I'm not going back there. And when do you guys go there this year?
Oh, I don't know. That's not one I check off. Is
that right?
It's one of those that when it happens, it happens. And
he's going to send you the bill.
Yeah, I would expect that, and I deserve it.
I should expect takeout delivered to Donnie Baseball in the booth.
That's true. One of the true baseball characters of all time.
Loves the game. Just a first-class human being. He's in that press box at Syracuse, and nobody loves Syracuse baseball more than Donnie.
That is very true, and it's not even close, actually.
Not even close. When we show up, he has a note on my door, and it welcomes me back in. Here's a high fly to right center. Hit well by Rose. That ball back towards the track is going to be caught by Tolson, but tagging up at 3rd. Coming down is Robbins in the first run of the game. You got me off my game, man. It's on the White Sox side. That's
What'd I do?
6th run. I thought the White Sox were the Knights.
Well, everybody's the same.
You know why?
We're all friends here, right?
Because the reserves are in now.
Yeah.
There really probably was a Charlotte Knight that scored.
Or a dash. Can you be a dash?
He could. He could.
Yeah.
But anyway,
that was a nice play, by the way. Y'all missed a really nice play.
Charlie Tolson can track it down in center field.
Great play right there. He made it look easy. We're talking about food in Syracuse, and the guy just made a really good play in the outfield.
He did.
Well, first of all, I'm hungry, and it's cold out. So it's a perfect topic.
Well, it's getting you ready for Kansas City. There's good barbecue, and it's going to be cold.
I grew up in Wichita, Kansas, or right south of Wichita, so Kansas City barbecue is about 2.5 hours away, but it's you got to get you some of that.
It never migrated to Wichita?
Never.
They keep it to themselves?
There's not much in Wichita, Kansas, trust me. If you've ever been there, there's not a whole lot there.
Have not been, no.
No, you probably don't want to go either.
You're part of the Chamber of Commerce still, clearly.
Omar Narvaez now batting for Matt Davidson. Davidson 0 for 2 with an RBI today. Well, you've been all over the place doing college basketball recently. You're in Boise for the tournament. It's been a great tournament. I know you had a good time doing that.
Yeah, no, but honestly, like I'm ready for baseball season at this point. I'm glad to be here. First of all, I'll let you do your job.
Narvaez slaps one to left for a base hit.
I really do always love coming back here. You and I have now. I mean, it's amazing to me that you and I have been friends and known each other for 12 years now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's crazy.
It's it's been a lot of great guys come to this league, get to the major leagues, and I'm extremely happy with the success you've had.
Thank you.
But I could see that. This is not blowing smoke at you. When you were in Syracuse, I mean, we knew big things going to happen at some point for you. So I'm really happy for you.
Well, that's very nice of you. You of all people in the International League, of all the people that I met, you were right off the bat in 2006 when I was doing games with Bob McElligott, you were so welcoming and such a wonderful person that I really appreciate you saying that.
That's because I have no friends and I was looking for one. And a 6-4-3, a 3-6-3 double play to end the inning. That's why I'm still here. I make mistakes like that. We go now to the bottom of the fifth. It's 5-0 Chicago.
Well, Dave, it's almost selfie time.
Back at the ballpark here in the fifth inning. The White Sox now lead 6-0. Matt Swearing with Lauren Hibbs, joined by Jason Benetti. Danny Farquhar, who was picked up last season by the White Sox, spent some time in Charlotte before going to Chicago in September, is going to take over on the mound here in the fifth inning.
Just found out yesterday on the trip to the airport, Danny Farquhar is a big Hamilton fan.
Really?
Have you all heard the Hamilton music?
Yeah.
Yeah, he loves it. Big fan.
How many times has he seen the play?
Once.
Hard ticket to get, I hear.
It is difficult.
Didn't you just see it recently?
I bribed some people.
That's because you're Mr. Windy City.
Well,
you can get into those things.
No, the way
now.
you do it, though, you buy season tickets to the theater or whatever it is, and then they like throw it. Hamilton's a part of that, so that's how they get you to do it.
Yeah.
Let's rehash the story we told. This is my 21st year in Charlotte. I'm not able to buy season tickets.
Is Hamilton coming through? Is there a good theater in Charlotte?
There is. I haven't heard yet, but that'd be one to see. Zavala at the plate for the Knights. He had a single his first time as he faces Farquhar. New catcher Gonzalez. Alvarez now playing shortstop. I thought about Eddie recently during the Olympics, during the speed skating. It's just one of the greatest stories to come through Charlotte. And I think professional baseball. Fly ball to center. And Alex Call makes the catch. I mean, Eddie grows up in Miami. And I just have to think there's not a lot of ice if it's not in somebody's drink in Miami. Unless you're around the cabana, there's not a lot of ice. Right? Well, he takes to roller skating and then like kind of inline skating, and he wants to try speed skating. He says there's an ice rink up the road. He starts practicing. This guy wins a silver medal in the Olympics from Miami. And now he's a step away from the major leagues.
You think about the dedication it takes to be ready to participate in the Olympics, right? And then you need to have your best day at the biggest level.
One time.
Once.
That's
exactly the point.
One
That's
time.
exactly the point. One time, and to be able to nail it and win silver, and then be able to be so good, and yes, he's not made it to the majors, but he's one of the top, what, 500, 600 baseball players in the country?
Yes.
That's a remarkable athletic accomplishment.
Yes, it is.
It really is an unbelievable story. And a ground ball wide of first. Nice pickup by Rose. And getting over there is Farquhar. Now 2 away.
I love this ballpark.
It
I
really
do.
is cool.
It's awesome. Yeah.
And I don't know if people in Chicago know, but this is a couple years old. What, 2014 was the first one?
Yeah, it's his 5th season now. And,
yeah.
And each year now, the skyline, we don't have any construction for the first time in a couple of years. This new high-rise behind right field is now open late last summer. But
the Swearad building.
Yeah, you know, I have an apartment on the 7th floor.
He's got his name on the press box here. You know that, don't you?
Did you got your name on the press box?
Yeah, last year.
Congratulations. I had not heard that.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Well deserved. 21 years.
Yeah, that's being in a place too long. But someone did say, you know, it was funny. Here's a broken back ground ball to the second baseman. And Fleete picks it up, throws to first for the out. I'll tell you in a minute, because it is kind of funny. As we go now to the 6th inning, it is 6-0 Chicago. Well, back at the ballpark here in the 6th inning. New pitcher on the mound is going to be Tyler Danish as he takes over. And the royalty race in the field that Charlie the Knight won coming into this top of the 6th inning. The first pitch to Gonzalez is going to be inside. Gonzalez came in to catch in the bottom half of the 5th inning for Wellington Castillo. On deck is going to be Alvarez. And then Fisher. So we got pretty much the reserves in at all positions for the White Sox now, joined by Jason Benetti, voice of the White Sox on the television side, who's with the team as they travel to Kansas City later tonight, and they open up on Thursday against the Royals.
I'm just trying to be as insightful as Jeremy Haber. It's tough to beat.
He's a bright guy, isn't he?
He is.
He really is.
Really
a bright
sharp guy.
Yep.
Line drive in the left. That's going to get down for a base hit. So Gonzalez has himself a leadoff single here in the 6th inning. You guys are joking about the plaque on the wall. So somebody asked me if that man had more job security now that they named the booth. And I said, well, all it means now is the next guy that has my job and sits in this chair has to work in a room named after me. That's all.
I think the answer is yes to that question.
I don't know. First one up high as Eddie Alvarez stands in there. We talked about Eddie last half inning and winning the silver medal in speed skating. I had asked Eddie when he was with us a couple of years ago if he thought about trying again. He said the work he'd have to put in, the amount of time that it would take to dedicate himself, he just wasn't up for it again. He wanted to devote all his attention to playing baseball and the ultimate goal now of reaching the major leagues.
You mentioned, Matt, you've been doing this for 21 years. In terms of volume of talent coming through, where does this current crop of White Sox stand for you?
You know, it definitely has to be near the top, you know, of the starters the White Sox put out there today. You know, you include everybody, pitcher and designated hitters. Of those 10, 8 of them are former Charlotte Knights. I mean, that's just a huge number to get up. And these are guys that are, if not everyday players, playing at a really high rotation for the White Sox. So you look at that volume, that amount, that has to be the highest ever. We've had some great guys come through here and become, you know, all-stars and really good players, and some that unfortunately had injuries like Joe Creedy that never saw how good his career could be. But there's been a lot of guys that have come through here and had, you know, big careers. But I think the overall number we're seeing right now is probably the highest ever. Right up the middle, and a base hit for Alvarez.
We were talking to Jim Thome on the broadcast yesterday, and he compared this current crop of White Sox talent coming through the system to those Indians teams that he was on his way through and on his way through Charlotte.
That's
certainly.
high praise.
Yeah,
that's real high praise.
Those teams were loaded.
Yes, they were.
Yep. And those veteran guys sprinkled in there. You know, guys like Sam Horn, but there's so many young players coming up. The Manny Ramirez's and guys like that. You're right.
Jeremy alluded to the competition now they feel like they have within the organization, and the players sense that. They see that. They go to spring training, and that's a good thing. I mean, that helps with your culture. It helps with player development because guys have more of a sense of urgency, you know, every day to get their jobs done the right way, and it's all positive. And you put pieces in like Kata and some of these other guys that are just elite talent guys, and if they can stay healthy and be the cornerstone of your team and your franchise, then you got something really special moving forward.
And you know, too, that sometimes when you get a lot of talent in one place, everybody's not necessarily cohesive. They might be a little antagonistic toward one another. That's not happening in this camp, which I think is a credit to Ricky Renteria and his staff to keep the positive vibes going with a lot of young talent.
As a coach myself, I get that. You're exactly right. And then you add pieces to the puzzle with your coaching staff to make sure that you're managing the whole situation the right way. Then you add a guy like Wellington Castillo behind the plate. That's such an important position on the field. And you can just sense the way he handles the situation, the way he played tonight. All those things matter. The statistical stuff matters. All the analytical stuff matters. But there is that element of developing a good team and having a good coaching staff and all those things that really, you know, play day to day when you're trying to put together a competitive team.
Just that one moment earlier, Castillo has the ball come into the plate, and there's a juggle, and this is an exhibition game against AAA team days before the regular season starts. He could just say, you know what, I don't want to go after that ball. Not only did he go after it, he picked it up, made the tag, and very easily as a veteran you could say, I'm out for that. Right. But he didn't. He did the opposite of it.
Same with Abreu getting a jam shot the first at bat, and he's running full speed down the line. You know,
after a bad hamstring just a couple days ago.
Exactly, and you know the managers, everybody's probably player development people are going like easy, don't blow yourself up, you know. But again, that mentality and that work ethic, and that's the right way to play. And again, that goes a long way towards having a successful team and organization.
Now, Danish walks Fisher. Here comes Alex Call. The bases are loaded. So here in the 6th inning, the White Sox have a chance to tack on some more. Bases loaded, nobody out. Call came in for Adam Engel, who had a couple of doubles today and a run knocked in, plus a run scored. You know, 22 Knights made their trip to Chicago last year. A lot of them, like Engel, making their big league debut. You saw just about all those guys. And talking about the youth movement and what's been coming through the minor leagues, and more guys still coming up the organization ladder. Base hit to right. That's going to get another one in. They go station to station and stop Alvarez over at third, but Alex Call gets a base hit, so that number 9 spot on the order is 3 for 3, and back up the top spot with the bases still loaded, 7-0 Chicago.
Nick Capper a little conservative over at third. Doesn't want to get anybody dinged up a few days before the regular season starts. Probably the right decision.
Yeah, good to see Cappy doing a lot better too. He had that back issue last year, and it was something that was tough to fight through, but he's excited about starting the season this Thursday.
What a good guy he is, huh?
Great guy. I've never met Nick, but I saw him play college baseball at the University of Oklahoma way back in the day, and he was a great player in college at OU, and just I've heard a lot of great things about him, and again, having him part of the coaching staff is another one of those things that we talked about earlier about building a good culture and putting the right pieces in place to be able to develop your team the best way.
He was a player here back in the Marlin days. Yep. And managed twice, 2 different stints, skippering the Knights in the White Sox days. Danish having a tough 6th inning right now. 1 ball, 1 strike on Fleete. $7-0 Chicago. This one foul to left and back in the seats. So what's it like? You haven't been up around Chicago much lately with spring training and your basketball, but you got to be hearing what's going on with Loyola in the city. But it's got to be crazy right now. Final Four coming up this week.
It's awesome. I mean, just seeing the pictures out of Rogers Park up there. And hearing all the stories of people, essentially every round, more people jump on. And more people jump on. I can't even imagine what the Final Four weekend is going to be like in that area. It is wild.
I don't like their matchup with Michigan, but you know what? If anyone can beat them, they can.
Yeah, I didn't like the matchup with Kansas State. I didn't really like the matchup in the 3 games before that either.
Nevada or anybody else. The first 2 rounds.
Did you? Come on
now. I swear to God. I did. The first 2 rounds. I didn't have them going past that, but it's pretty amazing.
Don't discount the Missouri Valley now, even with Wichita State out and even with Creighton out now, and they're in the Big East and the AAC. Still a tremendous league, a tough league to win, and for Loyola to win both the regular season and the conference tournament speaks volumes. You know, everybody was focused on Northwestern early in the season with the year they had the year before, and Loyola's kind of snuck in there and kind of taken all the attention. Really happy for them. They earned it. They earned the right to be there in the Final Four.
And good for the Valley too. They lose Wichita State. It's a great. You said it. It's a great league. I mean, the Valley is very well run. Great people in charge of it. Yep. Always good basketball. They lose Creighton. They lose Wichita State within a decade, and they got a team back in the Final Four.
It seems like sometimes there's a great fit with a team and a coach. And I think Coach Moser's that kind of fit there. And if he stays there, it can be what Wichita was in the Valley in Chicago. So many great players. They'll tag up the runner at third, and the throw goes into third. And the White Sox tack on another. It's now 8-0 on the sac fly by Mason Robbins, and here comes Matt Rose.
That's a better send by Cappy over there at third.
You like that one?
Yeah, that was a good high probability decision.
He's having a good night over there at third. Now Rose, sac fly his first time. Narvaez on deck. 8-0 Chicago, their final tune-up before they open up on Thursday.
We saw you guys showed the hats, the CLT hats. Those are cool.
Yeah. 20th anniversary, so we want to do something special. And like the old license plate uniforms you guys have, so went with the CLT.
I saw some kids down there actually when I was down before the game wearing them already.
Yep.
Who's your favorite White Sox prospect to come through in the Sox time?
Wow.
Here?
Favorite one.
Best guy.
There's so many, really. I was a big Aaron Rowan fan.
Yeah.
I loved Creedy. Joe Borcher. You know, Joe never had that big league career, but they don't come any better than Joe Borcher as a human being. And he only played the game one way, and that was 100%. And that last game he played with us, he knew it was over. Here's a swing and a miss, and Rose strikes out to end the inning. But that last game, before we go quickly, there was a ball way in the bullpen down the right field line. He dives headfirst through the bullpen into a fence to make a catch. That's just the way he played the game. He only knew how to play it one way. 8-0 Chicago.
Baseball is back.
Swing. BB&T Ballpark, and Charlie Tolson's going to lead things off, and Tolson takes a first pitch strike on the outside corner. New pitcher Nate Jones. Nate taking over. Danny Farquhar had a 1-2-3 fifth inning, and now Nate here in the sixth. Now the relievers pretty much getting an inning apiece as they get their final tune-up on the mound before opening day. 0-2 on Tolson, who has bounced back to the mound and walked.
You thinking you might want to jump on that plane and go back to Arizona for a week with the Knights? What do you think?
Ooh.
No?
Probably not. I want to be in that charter tonight going to Kansas City. Just missing inside. I want to thank Jason Benetti. Had to step out and meet some friends, but really appreciate the time that he spent in the booth. Real happy for all his success, and hopefully has a great year this year, as the White Sox do as well. Pitch outside, 2-2. Yeah, there have been some good ones that have gone from the International League to the Major Leagues, but things are all said and done. Benetti might be the best of the bunch.
Quality guy too. You can just tell that by talking with him and interacting with him, and really happy for him and his career.
Well, the ball got away on a check swing, strike three. Gonzalez couldn't make that stop, so it'll be a strikeout wild pitch, and Tolson takes first base.
That was weird. That was kind of a Gonzalez trying to make a block on that pitch that was down in the strike zone, and didn't quite get his glove down in time. It didn't look like.
Number 6, Jose Rodon.
Yeah, just didn't get his glove down. You know, you teach catchers to get their glove down as quickly as possible. That's the first thing that needs to go, along with your lower half, and just didn't quite get his glove down fast enough.
Rondon standing in. He's walked and bounced back to the mound as well. Action down in the Knights bullpen. Now a swing and a miss. Jones a hard thrower. That time backed off and off speed low and away, and he got Rondon to chase after it. Nate's had a battle through some arm issues last couple of years, but hoping for a healthy 2018.
Got a very unique throwing motion. He kind of has an arm circle and arm action that's not a traditional arm circle and arm action. Ball kind of comes at a different angle as a hitter. He's got arm strength, though, doesn't he? I mean, it's amazing. We talk about it all the time, Matt. These guys, once they get to AAA, there's nobody that throws 85 miles an hour. You know, I mean, it's just everybody's low 90s to mid 90s, and left-handers, you know, right-handers, guys that have really good arms and really good arm strength.
And 10 years ago, playing at the old Castle in Fort Mill, if we had a reliever throw 90, that was a high number. Now, if it's not 95 to 98, you're probably not going to see him out of that bullpen. They might also, you know, showcase other pitches, but they've got a fastball of 95 plus.
Arm strength, arm strength, arm strength, arm talent. They're talking about it now with the NFL draft coming up with, you know, the kid from Wyoming. He's got a big arm. He's got a big arm talent, and it's the same way baseball-wise. You're looking for guys that have that type of arm strength, and hopefully you can develop them into quality pitchers as time goes on. They move up through the minor league systems.
Ground ball to short, double play ball, and they turn it. Good turn at second base by Fleete, and it's a 6-4-3 double play. So 2 away. Had to make that quick turn because Rondon, was getting down the line, but good turn at second base.
It's a really good job being aggressive, coming to the ball right there and shortening the distance down, and a great turn there at second base.
Standing in for Charlotte, Daniel Polka.
Now Polka comes up for a third time. He's bounced out and struck out. They'll put that shift on for him. Former Georgia Tech standout. Facing Nate Jones. And strike one. We're in the bottom of the sixth inning. It's 8-0 Chicago. The Knights have only been able to scatter a couple of hits. They both came in the second inning. Double by Skoll and a single by Zavala.
Jones would be tough to hit if he's in the strike zone. He's got a different, like I said, a different arm action, and breaking ball kind of comes off of a different slot, a different angle. Difficult guy to hit if he's in the strike zone.
Misses down. The count 2 balls and 1 strike. Alex Call in center field, a couple of steps towards right center. And you got the 3 infielders out on the right side with the second baseman Fleete playing out in short right field. And a ground ball. Now the third baseman able to grab it, throw to first in time. Going a long way to his right because he was playing with a shortstop would be. And Mieczewski makes a nice play to end the inning. That'll do it after 6, 8-0 Chicago. 4th inning. Into pitch now, Tiago Vieira will take over. And now playing shortstop is going to be Jake Elmore. And in center field, we also have a new outfielder.
It's like Booker, is that right?
Joel
Matt?
Booker.
Yep.
Omar Narvaez leading off with the White Sox as he faces Vieira. Tiago Vieira, right-hander. Pitching for the first time here at BB&T Ballpark. And he deals ball 2 down low. So Tolson is out. Booker now in center. Rondon out at shortstop. And Jake Elmore in his spot. Well, Tyler Danish gave up a couple of runs in the 6th inning. White Sox lead 8-0. And the pitch here to Narvaez is ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. There's a strike on the inside half. There is action now in the White Sox bullpen again. Pretty much going with a different pitcher every inning now on both sides. Getting some guys some work. White Sox have 12 hits in this game. They went out in order in the 3rd. But outside of that, runners on base every inning. Now 3-2. And a ground ball to the right side. Perez scoops it up and he throws him out. A nice way to come back after going down 3-0. Vieira gets the ground out.
And for the chance to win a White Sox autographed bat or a PC Gillespie autographed jersey. A couple of nice memorabilia prizes you can take home with you tonight. Raffle closes.
Now Danish went 1, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, couple of strikeouts in his 1 inning of work. Now Vieira to face Mieczewski. Came in defensively. At third base for Sanchez. And now 2 balls and no strikes. So again, Vieira falls behind.
You know, a lot of the fans may not realize, Matt, but there's 2 separate spring trainings. There's a minor league camp and then there's the big league camp. And again, a lot of these guys that have come up through the minor league system and never played in an exhibition game like this, or never played with or against the the big league club. This is a big deal. Now they can periodically call guys up from the minor league camp and have them join the major league team. But it's a great experience, great part of the player development process, and good for these guys to kind of see what that next level is like.
Vieira delivers, and that's going to be ball 3 up high. And ball 4.
Get back to fastball command again, Matt. Just again for these young pitchers, guys that have good arms. A lot of them are used to just throwing fastballs in the vicinity of the strike zone without really commanding the strike zone. And then you get to this level, and it becomes more about fastball command and trying to get the ball exactly where you want it in a different quadrant, or different spot in the strike zone that you want to get it to. Good breaking ball right there.
Yeah, dropped it in against Gonzalez. Vieira is 25 years old. He is from Brazil and pitched in 1 game last season in the major leagues with the Seattle Mariners. Also AA Arkansas and AAA Tacoma last year in Seattle's organization. White Sox obtained him on November the 16th. It was a trade in exchange for international signing pool money. So now his first camp as a White Sox pitcher. Little jam job to right field. Polka comes in, can't make the play. Deke the runner, though, and throws to second for the out. Mieczewski thought it was going to be caught and turned back to go to first base. Nice job by Polka in the outfield to deke out Mieczewski. The putout ends up being a force play, 9-6.
He deked me, too. I tell you what, I thought that ball was going to be caught. Looks like he's going to catch it, and then, yeah, the ball hits right in front of him. And your traditional 9-6 putout, right?
Yeah. Yep. Force out, 200 feet away, 9-6. And now here's Eddie Alvarez. Has a base hit tonight. Had a single up the middle and scored a run. That was last inning. Now Vieira comes set and delivers, and that's in for a strike. Eight nothing Chicago. On the ground, scooped up by Perez, and the second baseman throws him out. A walk, and that is it for Vieira. And a scoreless seventh inning. Stretch time here in Charlotte as the White Sox have an 8-0 lead. Now it's Juan Minaya coming in to pitch the bottom of the seventh inning for the Chicago White Sox. Another former Charlotte Knight. Last season 3-2 with a 4.53 ERA up in Chicago. He's going to face Patrick Leonard, Matt Skoll, and Casey Gillespie unless the Knights run a pinch hitter or two up there. 8-0 Chicago. And Manaya's first one is ball one. Nate Jones pitched the sixth inning. Had a strikeout.
It's been a fun night so far, hasn't it, Matt? It's been a lot of fun. Get a chance to see a lot of different guys. You get to the point in the game right now where you're just trying to, get guys a little bit more work and get guys out of the game so you don't get anybody nicked up before the season starts. And it's good to see all these guys and the different options that the White Sox have moving forward.
Knights will go back to Arizona tomorrow, get one last week of prep in before coming back to open the season next week. And again, the White Sox open the Major League season Thursday night in Kansas City. They'll travel later tonight. Count 3-1 now in Patrick Leonard, the former Durham Bull. Now in his first season in the White Sox organization. Knows this ballpark very well. Had a great start to the season last year. Was a AAA All-Star with the Bulls. Tore the cover off the ball in the month of April. He'll take first on ball 4. And now Matt Skoll, another player the Knights saw in the International League last season.
Number 12 at the plate for Charlotte. Number 12, Matt Skoll.
This ballpark really tailor-made for his swing. He'll play first, third, the outfield this year. Another guy with some versatility. And ball 1 from Minaya. Knowing that they're going to go back to Arizona, the Knights could not send their full complement of pitchers. Pitch outside here, 2 balls, no strikes. So they're going to get 5 guys some work today. Everybody else is left over in Arizona, not having to make the cross-country trip if they weren't going to get in the game. Brad Goldberg warming up in the bullpen now. All-Star a couple of years ago for the Knights. This one in the air to center field, well hit. Call going back. And on this cold night, the ball dies in front of the warning track. Summertime, that might make the track or the wall, but on this 40-degree night here in March, it's an out.
It is an out. Ball just not going to carry tonight. Really nice play in center field there. Skoll's got big-time power. Just didn't quite get enough of that one on the barrel.
And now standing in is Casey Gillespie. A walk and a ground out so far tonight for Casey. Younger brother of Connor, former White Sox big leaguer, most recently with the Giants. There's a pitch in the dirt, gets away. Down to second base goes Patrick Leonard. The Gillespies come from an athletic family. Casey trying to follow his brother's footsteps to get to the major leagues. Of the 2 brothers, Casey is the more outgoing. Connor very quiet.
Very quiet. Yep. Family, dad still lives in Omaha, where they're from Nebraska, and very athletically gifted family.
This one high and away.
It's hard to switch hit. You know, we see a lot of guys now, Gillespie one of them, that do switch hit. But it's hard. I mean, you got to spend extra time and on both sides of the plate, and it's an advantage, you know, if you can do it at a high level. But it's really, really difficult. You got to spend a lot more time, you know, hitting than you normally would if you're just hitting on one side of the plate.
Big swing of that one. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Had a good crowd tonight for the weather issues that we've been dealing with. The Knights did a great job of promoting this event and promoting the game. And everybody's got to go to work tomorrow, though, don't they? Kind of filtering out a little bit. But again, a good turnout by the people in Charlotte here to see the big league club.
On what for these folks around here is a chilly night. If it's under 60 in these parts, a lot of folks will say, "Well, summer's coming. I'll go some other time." But chance to the big club here today. Ground ball to first base, snagged by Rose. He'll go to the bag. 2 outs. Over to third base goes Patrick Leonard. Knights still looking for their first run today. We'll see if Zavala can knock it in.
Nice play by Rose right there. Good footwork and got his glove in the right position. Really nice play.
As your attention, please, pitch hitting for the Knights, number 17, Casey Schroeder.
Knights have a pinch hitter now. Casey Schroeder is going to bat. Take over the catching duties. Zavala went 1 for 2 today, so now it's Schroeder trying to get that first run in for the Charlotte Knights. 8-0 Chicago. Mania rocks and delivers, and ball 1. This one down low. Schroeder last year played for the Kannapolis Intimidators, played 42 games. He went to Coastal Carolina University. He is from Ohio. 8th round pick in 2015 out of Coastal Carolina. This one all the way back to the backstop. Breaking for the plate. Here's the throw and beating the tag. Save at the plate is Patrick Leonard. Not sure if there was a mix-up or just a ball that got by Gonzalez, but
Gonzalez should be used to catching Mania, you know, with all the spring training practices and bullpens and games. But that ball just got by him. Mania's not really locating his fastball like he normally does. That one just gets away, way off the inside part of the plate. Just hold your breath on a play like that. You don't want Mania sticking his leg in there and having a base runner slide into it. So,
and a smash up the middle by Schroeder. That would have got the run in anyway. And the Knights get a 2-out base hit. It's an 8-1 ball game. Schroeder on first base, and now the batter is Juan Perez. Nice piece of hitting there by Schroeder.
Really good swing by Schroeder. Another guy that's a switch hitter and got a chance, I think, to earn more time, you know, behind the plate, because he does swing the bat really well.
Now Perez, the former Louisville bat. We saw him going all the way back to 2015 at AAA in Louisville in the Reds organization. Signed as a free agent. Sends this one high and deep to right. It's got a chance. It's up, and gone. Juan Perez. How about that? 3 runs here in the 7th inning. It's 8-3.
Matt, you said you saw him go dead center in spring training game a week or so ago on TV, and that ball got out of here pretty quickly.
It sure did. Cleared the bleachers in deep right field on the walkway between the bleachers at Mint Street.
At the plate, number 8, Jacob May.
Now the batter, Jacob May. Like Schroeder, a former Coastal Carolina player. 3rd round pick by the White Sox out of Coastal. And he takes a strike.
You know, even with a guy like Mania, who's got a big arm talent, if he doesn't locate his fastball, and he really has struggled with that so far this evening, you're going to give up runs, whether it be to AAA hitters or big league hitters, and be good to get him, you know, back on track here and get his fastball down the strike zone. It's got great life on his fastball, got a good downhill angle, good downhill plane, just a matter of locating.
He gets him that time. Jacob behind 1 ball, couple of strikes. Top of the lineup is on deck. That'd be Booker. Now ball 2, 2-2 on Jacob May.
You know, every at bat matters, every inning matters. You know, these guys are constantly being evaluated. They continue to play.
And a swing and a miss, caught a piece of that, but caught by Gonzalez to end the inning. Knights, though, get on the board with 3. A 2-run home run by Juan Perez after 7 complete tonight. It is Chicago 8 and Charlotte 3. Well, we go now to the 8th inning. New pitcher now for the Charlotte Knights. It's going to be Brad Goldberg, who has been with the Knights the last couple of years. Got to the big leagues last year with the White Sox. Hoping for a spot on that big league roster in the bullpen. If not, a return to Charlotte possibly in the future. He'll face Jamison Fisher. It's an 8-3 game now as the Knights picked up 3 in the bottom of the 7th inning. 2 and a home run by Perez. Vieira, a scoreless 8th inning with 1 walk. And now Goldberg is on. He's the 5th Knights pitcher in this ball game tonight. And this one runs in and hit him. So Goldberg puts the first hitter that he faces on base. Chilly night, getting hit like that is going to sting a little bit more.
That's not much fun right there. That's the last thing you want. You want to have a quality at bat, put a good swing on it. Like a breaking ball that he got hit with, on the back foot there.
And he shows expression. He got hit in the back toe, and that's not going to feel good. Here's Alex Call. 1 for 1 with an RBI. Singleton's coming in. He fouls the first one away. A lot of production for the White Sox in that 9 spot today. Adam Engel had 2 doubles and an RBI, and now Call with the RBI single. Call is from Wisconsin. 3rd round pick in 2016. Last season at Kannapolis and Winston-Salem. And A-ball. Went to Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana. In the dirt, runner breaks. The throw goes into center field. Schroeder had that one get away from him. Safe on second is going to be Fisher.
It's a tough play for a catcher. You're trying to block and recover. Does a good job of blocking. Ball's in front of him. I don't know that he would have been out even if he would have made a good throw, but sometimes when you do that and you block as a catcher, you don't get the right grip on the ball, and he's trying to rush it a little bit. But again, good job blocking the ball, and had a quality at bat his first at bat an inning or so ago.
And a chance now for Call to pick up a second RBI. Fights this pitch off. The count now 2-2. That'll go as a wild pitch. The runner advancing. No throwing error on Schroeder. Runner breaking as the ball was in the dirt. Fleete is on deck. The starters now have been gone for a couple of innings. This pitch up high. Now Goldberg has the count go 3-2. So all 5 of the pitchers on the Knights roster that came from Arizona have now been used in this game, with Goldberg being the final one. And looking down at my lineup of Knights players, they've all been checked off. They've all been used in this game now by Mark Grudzielanek, who's in his 2nd season as a Knights skipper. 14-year major leaguer.
Mark and his staff really do a good job of teaching, coaching, even in game situations, and it's a huge part of it. We've talked about player development all night, but Mark had a great major league career and able to pass that knowledge on now to the guys here at the AAA level.
Now back up at the top of the lineup. Here comes Fleete. Wyatt Fleete. There's always a fine line in the minor leagues of developing and then trying to win the game. Ground ball back to the mound, toss over to first. They get the out there. The runners move up now. 2 in scoring position for Mason Robbins with 1 man out.
And it varies from organization to organization, Matt, based on what their plan is. You know, some teams don't worry at all about, or organizations worry at all about, from, you know, in A ball or even double A, about winning. It's all about trying to get your players developed. It's all about pitch counts. It's all about number of at-bats. Some carry that all the way through to triple A. You know, they don't worry about it all the way through until they get to the big leagues. And again, it's just an organizational philosophy. And again, you know, the Knights and their coaching staff, I think, do a really good job of keeping that balance of trying to win the game, but also getting guys the work and the reps that they need to get to develop.
Mason Robbins standing in now, a 2 in scoring position. Knights keep the infielders back. 8-3 game in the 8th inning. You know, Chris Getz took over last season as the farm director and former big league player, former Charlotte Knight. Getz went to Wake Forest in Michigan in the collegiate level before getting drafted and making it to the big leagues with the White Sox. I sense, though, there might be a little change at the AAA level, where maybe a little more emphasis on, in the later innings, trying to win.
Yeah.
Here's the 1-1 on the ground to first base. That'll get a run in, and tagged down at first base is Robbins, but scoring is Fisher. And it's now 9-3 Chicago. Over to third goes Call. And the batter, Matt Rose.
Everybody wants to win. I think that the players want to win. I mean, that's the goal. But again, I don't know that can ever take priority over developing your players, especially at the lower levels. I mean, you have to get guys, you know, pitch counts, pitching wise. You got to get at bats for guys. You got to get defensive reps for guys to give them a chance to be able to develop into major league players, because that's the goal, is develop as many major league caliber players as possible to help your current team, but also to help in any trade situations where you might be able to improve your roster of your organization.
Rose, a sac fly his first time up. Swings and misses, 0-2. You know, you can also say part of development, especially once you get to the AAA level, knocking on the major league door, is learning how to win a game and closing it out.
No doubt.
And that's all part of the whole developmental process. And you want guys to get to the big leagues that have experienced it and hunger for it, not just being a big league player. Swing and a miss, struck him out. So Rose is gone. The inning is over. One more tacked on, middle of 8, 9-3 Chicago. Well, back in the ballpark, bottom of the 8th inning. And Lucas Giolito, who started last season with the Charlotte Knights and ended up in Chicago. He'll be with the White Sox this year. Got a Lucas Giolito bobblehead coming up later this season. And he had a breakout game last year that was the no-hitter. First Knights no-hitter thrown by a Charlotte Knights player in this ballpark since it opened up. Wish him all the best this season as he'll be with a club breaking camp going to Kansas City. Now leading off is Booker facing Gregory Infante, former Knight that came back to the organization last year. Deals down low.
Pretty special to throw a no-hitter. Man, that's hard. It's whether it's your high school level, junior college level, college level, AAA, big leagues. A lot of things have to go right. You have to be really good, but a lot of things have to go right. You have to have good defense behind you. You get a bobblehead out of it.
Get a bobblehead out of it. Has there been the Lauren Hicks bobblehead
no,
yet?
I don't think that'd be real pretty at all. So, no. My kids tell me I got a big head with gray hair, so I don't know if that'd be a good thing or not. So
might sit well in a bobblehead.
It might bounce the right way, I guess, on the little thing that it bounces on.
And that caught a piece of the home plate umpire right there. Count stays 1-2 on Joel Booker. On deck is Elmore, then Polka. It's a 9-3 ball game. The White Sox lead the Charlotte Knights in this exhibition game at BB&T Ballpark. The second one between the Knights and their parent club in the history of this park. White Sox have come to the Queen City on 4 occasions, 2 at the old ballpark. One time they played the Expos in Fort Mill. That was many years ago. Nice play at third base. Mieczewski throws to first for the out. One away. Here comes Jake Elmore.
You know, as a college coach, I really have to stay neutral in terms of pro organizations and get a chance to deal with a lot of different scouts and see a lot of different guys over the years that work for different pro organizations. But I really like what the White Sox are doing. I really do. It's been fun the last couple of summers to kind of watch how they've kind of revamped their minor league system, and there's good things coming. You know, I don't know if it's going to be this year or not, but I think they're going to develop into a playoff contending type team. And I know that the people on the south side of Chicago, they should be really excited about that, because you can see the talent that's coming through, and you can see the plan that they have, and wish nothing but the best for the White Sox moving forward.
0-2 on Elmore. Now you're right. It's a good time to be a White Sox fan right now. The talent coming up through the system. We didn't get a chance to bring it up with Jeremy Haber earlier when Jeremy was here, the White Sox assistant general manager. But you know, a couple of guys got unfortunately dinged up during spring training. You know, Berger, top pick last year. Achilles injury. Yeah, he's out for the year. Looks like. And Robert recently got hurt. The young outfield prospect. So a couple of guys dinged up, but they'll be back and ready to go. Hopefully, if not at the end of the year, by spring training next year. A lot of young talent coming up to the system. Now Elmore strikes out, so Infante has the first 2, and now Daniel Polka is the scheduled batter, but there might be a pitching change here. White Sox brought a full complement of pitchers as they're heading to Kansas City after the game. So Infante gets a couple of batters, and looks like they might make a change here. They will. And bring in a reliever.
Polka's in the 8th inning of the game. He's got a right-handed guy out there that he's getting ready to face, and all of a sudden they bring a lefty in to face him. So I'm sure that Daniel's not real happy with that. But again, the White Sox, the big league club, they've got guys that they got to get work in. They got to make sure that guys can get the number of reps in that they need to get in. So Polka's going to get a chance to face a left-handed pitcher here.
And it's Aaron Bummer, another guy we saw briefly last year, come up from AA and made a stop here in AAA before going to Chicago and having some success. One of the 22 that went from Charlotte to Chicago last year. Now we have a moment Little plug for your team, Coach, is tomorrow we'll be right back here tomorrow night, and the Charlotte 49ers take on the North Carolina Tar Heels, and your team's already knocked off the 4th-ranked team in the country, Arkansas, and took out Wake Forest, a team that has won series against Louisville and FSU this year. So you guys are off to a nice start, good start in conference play, and hopefully a good one tomorrow night.
We're plugging away. A little bit of a rebuilding year for us in terms of our roster, but our guys have responded well, and we try to keep that habit of winning. We've got a good program, and really proud of our players and what we've done at Charlotte. And this is great. Mondays are off days for us from practice, and it's a good day to go recruiting for us. But it was a day that I took off from recruiting and got a chance to come down here and interact with all the White Sox staff and players, and the Knights staff and players. It's just been a really great day to be down here, and like you alluded to, we're going to get a chance to play the Tar Heels tomorrow down here, and it's going to be a great matchup, and we're really looking forward to it. Third time we've played, or scheduled third time that we've played down here this year.
Oh, awfully lucky that right in the middle of your season you had a night off tonight to help us out this evening. And White Sox fans will hear you again throughout the summer, starting in June. Once you guys finish up your trip to Omaha, you'll be back in our booth during all of the Comcast telecasts. So now Polka facing Bummer. That one over the plate for a strike.
Wow. Zone's getting a little bit bigger here. It's getting cold. The umpires, Daniel didn't like that too much. Ball down the strike zone there.
2 out, space is empty here in the 8th inning. Infield playing Daniel to pull. This one just off the outside.
You talk about Omaha, and we've talked about a lot of the college guys that are playing in this game tonight, guys that have played, high-level Division I baseball. And I got a chance to play in Omaha in the College World Series my sophomore year at Wichita State, and again, one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in baseball. And a lot of these guys have had a similar experience.
Well, Polka drills that pitch off the center field wall, has himself a stand-up double as it's played back in by Alex Call. So you talked about Polka being the on-deck circle, looking for a right-hander to make the change, and he comes up, and it's not a big deal. I can handle Bummer. And
that ball was hammered. That ball's going nowhere in center field tonight, and he just hammers it off the center field wall. Polka is a strong dude. Again, I saw him in high school. We recruited him to Charlotte. He ended up going to Georgia Tech. He is a strong guy with bat speed, so I think it's been a good addition for the White Sox organization to have that type of left-handed bat here at the AAA level.
Sox claimed him off waivers from the Twins. This one is outside to Patrick Leonard.
Well, you're always looking, and Jeremy alluded to this, a little bit earlier in our broadcast, but you're always looking for that next piece of the puzzle that you can add to your organization that might develop into a major league caliber player. And the process and the evaluation, the adding of talent, it never stops. It's a constant deal, whether it be in the off season or whether it be in season with trades.
And Patrick Leonard slapping one to center field for an RBI single. And it's not just the young guys, the prospects coming up in the organization. It's also the 6-year veteran free agents like a Leonard, like a Polka claimed on waivers that, if the young guys coming up aren't ready, there's a need in the big leagues. These guys are certainly capable of going up there and filling that hole.
That's a great point. You're just constantly looking to add value to your organization, constantly looking to add value to your system in case there are trades or injuries or whatever there might be to give you a chance to put the best big league club that you can on the field.
Well, it's a 9-4 game now in the 8th inning. And Bummer's next one's a strike to Matt Skoll. So another lefty-lefty matchup here. They wanted to get him some work, but they also wanted that lefty-lefty matchup for Bummer. Specialty guy out of the bullpen. And gave up the double by Polka, now facing another lefty in Skoll. 1-2.
Yeah, all these things that are happening, even here in the 8th inning, guys are being evaluated. And they're trying to see if Bummer can come in and maybe get left-handed hitters out. And that may be his role moving forward.
That was a nice pitch right there. Good off-speed pitch to strike out Skoll. and get out of the inning. Gives up a couple of hits and a run, but ends with a strikeout. We go to the 9th inning now. It's a 9-4 lead for the White Sox here in Charlotte. New pitcher on the mound for the Charlotte Knights. It's going to be Jorge Rondon. So Rondon on the mound. He'll face Narvaez, Mieczewski, and Gonzalez here in the top of the 9th inning. It's a 9-4 lead for the White Sox. 9-12-0, 4-5-1 for Charlotte. Now Rondon, a right-hander, working out of the stretch. I mean, early wake-up call tomorrow for the Knights. The bus will be taking off about 5:30 in the morning, go to the airport. All-day flight back out to Arizona, back to work.
Back to work, I know. Weather's going to be good out there, though.
Should be a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
This one in the air to center field, well hit. Booker drifting back, he'll make the catch. One away. Probably a good chance to get 1 or 2 late afternoons of golf in before they close it down. When they break camp and come here, it's not going to be golfing weather for a while.
No, it's not.
Number 88 with the plate, Trey Mieczewski.
Mieczewski coming up now. Sanchez started the game at third base, and after a couple of bats, he was replaced. Starters all pretty much had 2 at-bats tonight. 1 ball, no strikes.
You know, you get those 30 games or whatever it is, close to 30 games in spring training, and you get all the work on the front end, and you get your batting practice, and then you get to this point and you got a little bit of a break. You know, you get a couple of at-bats tonight, and then you don't play again until Thursday, and you're constantly, it's such a rhythm game, and it's such a daily effort game. You know, at this level, it's every single day, and it takes a little while to get in that rhythm. You know, I think it's good to get your work in spring training. I think it's good to have exhibition games like this, but it's going to be for real on Thursday. You know, and these guys, as much physically, they got to get ready mentally as well for that grind of 162 games.
Now 1 and 2 on Mieczewski. I always thought it was interesting how, you know, they'll open up the season on Thursday, then have an off day Friday. and then stay in that city and play Saturday and Sunday.
It's a players association and the stuff that they negotiate, you know, and they've done a great job over the years in the history of the Major League Baseball Players Association, and even the strike years and all those things that have happened in the history of baseball. But you know, they want the best work environment that they can get for their players, and you know, the ownership group has done a good job, and there's been a lot better working relationship over the last 10 to 15 years than there was back, you know, in those strike years. But it's all negotiated. It's all trying to create the best work environment they can for the players, and also benefit the owners and the teams.
Now the 2-2, swing and a miss. Rondon strikes out Mieczewski. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th.
It's a good located fastball right there at 93 plus. Tough pitch to handle even with 2 strikes.
Now tonight's attendance 7,237. Your paid crowd tonight, and most stuck it out for the whole ball game. Is still a good crowd left at the ballpark here in the 9th inning on a chilly night. There's ball 1 inside on Alfredo Gonzalez. Nights open up on the road a week from Thursday in Durham, and over to Norfolk before finally coming home. I think we'll have 16 or 17 telecasts this season back to Chicago on Comcast. You can catch us throughout the summer, mostly on weekends. All the up and coming future Chicago White Sox players.
We had a lot of fun doing it last summer. I think this summer is going to be every bit as much fun, if not more. It's just a real pleasure to watch these guys coming up through the system and then making it on to Chicago and the big league club. The pace has slowed now, hasn't it, Matt?
A little bit. You know, you bring up a good point, because they'll be instituting the new rules in the minor leagues at every level this year.
Yep.
Trying to increase the pace of play, and we'll see how that affects the game. And probably the most interesting, if you want to say controversial, will be once extra innings start, they will place a man automatically at second base to start every extra inning until somebody wins the ball game. And
I'm not a fan.
I'm not either. And I had the longest argument with somebody about a week ago about that. And there's a ground ball just wide of first base. I just hope that's something that never reaches the major league level.
Yeah, I struggle with that. I think there's other things that you can do, but just even at the lower levels, and even at the youth league levels and the college level and high school level, to get kids in the habit of playing faster. The game's slowed down a little bit too much at times now, but going to that extreme,
I made the
fan.
counter argument, or I understand in the minor leagues that you don't want to burn pitchers out, and they don't want to see position guys pitching. I get all that when you get to the 17th, 18th inning, whatever.
With rosters and all, roster limits,
In the minor leagues, I'm okay with we play, 14 and it's a tie. It's like spring training or something. To me, I'm okay with that, but you play the game the way the game was meant to be played. We go to the bottom of the 9th. It's 9-4 Chicago. made his AAA debut last year. And Drew is now closing this one out for the White Sox. The Sox have a 9-4 lead, bottom of the 9th inning. Former college pitcher at Valparaiso. And he is the son of Kurt Hassler, who's now the White Sox bullpen coach. But he's coached throughout the White Sox organization for many, many years. And one very proud daddy right now. I talked to Hass before the game. I said, hey, I saw Drew pitch on television last weekend. I was watching one of the White Sox games in Arizona, and Drew came in and worked the 9th inning and got into a little bit of a tough spot because of an error made, but he worked his way out of it and pitched a scoreless inning, and that was the first time he'd ever appeared in a Major League spring training game. I didn't realize that was his first appearance, and Hass was, you could see his face. He was so proud that he worked out of that inning and pitched a scoreless inning, his first ever big league inning. This one high in the air, deep to left center. Hit well, way back, and that's gone. A home run. How about that?
Wow.
Casey Gillespie. Knights are hoping to see a lot of that this season from Casey. He went opposite field, deep in the bleachers in left center.
Casey looked like he got a fastball up and out over the plate, and that's right into his swing path and his power zone. Yeah, that's a great swing right there. Again, the ball has not carried very well at all to center field, and that one did. Really good swing by Gillespie.
Now Schroeder had a good at bat as a pinch hitter back in the 7th inning. He had a single and later scored on Perez's home run. It's a 9-5 game. Knights have battled back a little bit after being down 8-0.
Look at this defensive positioning, Matt. I mean, we have 2 defensive players on the third base side of the field. It's unbelievable.
They'll tap her back to Hassler. He'll scoop it up and throw to first. But you're right. The third baseman was playing up the middle and short.
Yes.
And the left fielder, Fisher, is in left center. Had the whole left side. He could have bunted a triple. Here's Juan Perez. Had a deep home run over the bleachers his last time up. A 2-run blast back in the 7th inning. A little windy before the game. The flag's hanging straight down. Perfectly still right now here in the bottom of the 9th. Drew, like his dad, is a very tall young man. This one over the tower of Perez. When Drew was pitching in college for Valparaiso, his head coach was former Knights right-handed pitcher Brian Schmack. Went on a coach at Valpo and recruited the young Hassler. Here's a hard ground ball to second baseman. Flete has it, and now 2 away. And the last chance now of the Knights, Jacob May makes his way to the plate.
Lead batter number 8, set to play for Charlotte, Jacob May.
Thanks for watching tonight, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the White Sox final exhibition game and get a chance to tune in during the summertime when the Knights play on Comcast Chicago. Fly ball right, getting past the diving Robbins. That'll get down, and May can run. He might head for third. He'll round second, dig for 3. Here comes the relay, and it's not in time. Safe at third is May on the diving attempt made by Robbins in the outfield. That'll be most likely scored a triple.
Robbins looked like he got a good jump on the ball, Matt. He just didn't quite get there. Sometimes when the ball's hit like that, it looked like it might have a little bit of top spin on it. Sometimes when the ball's pulled to the pull side there with a left-handed hitter, you get a little bit of top spin on the ball, and just couldn't quite make a play. Great job by May going full speed out of the box and turning that into a triple.
Now the hitter is Joel Booker. He's 0 for 1, a ground ball to third his first time. 9-5 right now. And a ground ball to third base. Mieczewski's going to scoop it up over to first in time, and that is the ball game. So the Knights drop this one today. 9-5 is the final. The White Sox win their final exhibition game of the season. And now tonight their charter flight will take off and head to Kansas City in about an hour and a half from now. And they'll open up the season on a Thursday against the Kansas City Royals. The Charlotte Knights head back to Arizona tomorrow for the rest of their spring training. They'll come back and open the season a week from Thursday against the Durham Bulls on the road. So 9-5 is your final. 2-run home run today by Abisail Garcia. And a 2-run home run for Juan Perez of the Knights, and also Casey Gillespie adding one in the 9th inning. So for Lauren Hibbs, I'm Matt Swerat. Thanks so much for listening. Once again, the final score 9-5, the White Sox over the Charlotte Knights. Good night, everybody.